Hey, what's up you guys, Trader Fix here back with another video, man. Today we're going to be breaking down gold, which was a buy which I took on Friday. And this is basically going to be a trend line video. I'm going to show you how to use a trend line with SNR. And it's going to be a step-by-step explanation, so make sure that you do pay attention. So we're firstly going to start by looking at the high time frame, right? Start by looking at the high time frame. Now let's see the daily. Hold on. Daily and weekly. Wanna see where I found that. Okay, so with gold, all right. As you guys do know, I use high probability demand and also high probability supply. So this level right here was a possible buy area for me because of high probability demand and supply, and also for those of you who are aware of Elliott wave, this leg should roughly be close or equal. It should actually be equal or more than this one, right? Meaning that it's a correction, right? For an up move, meaning that we'll be expecting a move similar to this one from this area, right? So just to show you a quick example with the correction that I was explaining, right? You usually have an impulse, which is wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is an impulse, right? So fine. The impulse is this one right here, starting here. Let me do this. Let me bring this here. I want to show you. So the impulse starts here, just like with this one right here, and also right here, and then here. This is the impulse right here. This is the impulse, right? Meaning that a strong bullish move. And then this one right here, strong bullish move. Fine. What we expect, or let me just show you a full cycle, right? This wave A, wave B, and then wave C. Wave C is the completion of the correction, right? Wave C is the completion of the correction right here. I'll just change the color to red. So with us right now, what I saw was that the correction started here. We made this first leg, which is the A, and then the second leg, which is the B, and then the third leg being the C. Meaning that we can assume that once we trade into an area of support, then this wave C is complete, right? What do we expect next? We expect to see another impulse right here, right? So that the trend can continue. Just like with this one right here, market from this low to this high, and then we would expect to see price giving us roughly the same move, right? Or we'd anticipate to see price pushing a bit high up until 36,700. 3,700, all right? So fine. That's out of the way, right? That's out of the way. Price traded into an area of support right here. We're going to continue as to why I anticipated to buy from here, right? Price traded into an area of support. And then when we go to lower time frames, I think the trend line, I did see it on the what's this, on the 1 hour and also the 4 hour. So, but you can simply do that if you feel like. You can simply mark them up like this if you want, but I like focusing on ones which would give me the entry, right? Which is the 4 hour and 1 hour. So on the 4 hour, I marked this low and this low. So if you look at the line chart right now, which is how we're going to be using these trend lines, right? This is that area of support, right? This is that area of support. And then we're going to use the trend lines now. You can clearly see that we look at the lowest point. I used the lowest point, right? I use these ones. Not, I didn't use this one right here. I used this one because it has like a bigger dip and then a push higher. This is where this up move actually started. So mark it up like that and then extend it. But you can simply feel free to just work around with ones which you're comfortable, right? If you want to use this one, it's still fine. Like that. So what I then saw, right? Usually with a trend line, when you have a trend line like this, right? So usually expect that if we make a low right here, and then a low right here, and then bounce from it, we expect to use this trend line as support, right? But in this case, what we had was that we had this first move right here, and then this second tap, and then we broke this trend line, right? So what does this mean? When you break a support, what does it become? It becomes a resistance. But we didn't use that as a resistance like this, right? In turn, what we did, we broke above it, right? So what do you expect? It still becomes an area of support. And then once we trade above it, we expect to see a bullish continuation move, right? So this is actually what happened here. We had the first touch right here, second touch right here. We broke below, making it a resistance, and then we broke above. It went back to being an area of support, right? If we use this candlesticks, you'll see the wicks around that area, right? So hopefully it's clear. Hopefully it's clear for you to understand right now. So moving on. After seeing this trend line and seeing this behavior, I anticipated a buy, right? So since we already traded into an area of support, I pay attention to my high probability demand and supply. But in this case, it's just a partial high probability demand because it hasn't yet done everything that I want to see, right? So I'll just mark the fair value gap right here, right? But in most cases, I would have marked this area up, right? Mark this area up. So let's go to the 1 hour now. Because this is an area of support, right? Based on the high probability demand, I know most of you would have looked for this area, but because this area is an area of support, based on high probability demand, I'm going to continue looking for buys after we tap and trade away from this area. So on the 1 hour, really nothing clean for me to look for a buy. On the M30, nothing as well. So I think I was somewhere around here. We saw this liquidity right here. On the M15, what I saw on the M15, the same thing that I saw on that 4 hour time frame, a partial high probability demand, right? A partial high probability demand. It means that the demand has broken. It means that there's one candle in the high probability demand which has broken the other one but hasn't closed above it the way that I'd want to see it close above. So then marked it up like this. Then because we had liquidity, had my entry around here. But even on the M5, that's I don't think you would have refined that. I don't think you would have refined that. So my entry was based on the M15. My entry was based on the M15. I think I used 40 to 30, more than 30. I think around 40 to 50 pip stop loss, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, somewhere around here. My stop loss was somewhere around here. So usually in most cases, right, because I was still busy, did not have time to manage my position, but right around this high, this is where you should take partials. This is 210 pips. So you can take partials from here and let it run. But because of the fact that we know that on the high time frame, we are assuming that price would go to that level 3700, right? Yeah, 3700. So we would want to hold this, but not fully. So somewhere around here, somewhere around these highs, we're still going to get pullbacks, right? We're still going to get pullbacks. So this is basically how I took my trade with confirmation. on Friday. On Friday, right around here. And you can go on my Telegram. It's Street Trader FX, right? Street Trader FX. It's going to be the first link in the description. So you'll see everything on there. So with that said, I'll see you guys on another one. Hopefully this one was insightful, and make sure that you do check out other videos that I do have on my channel for extra information. So with that said, I'll see you guys.